Hey, welcome to another episode of Behind the Bar podcast. With these podcasts, we want to try and bring you as much value for your own health and fitness journey. So that's why we have our coaches on, our clients on, and other coaches within the local area to us. Now, on today's episode, we have a long-term client, Jennifer Broomfield. Jennifer, 41. She has done a few photo shoots with us. She looks absolutely fantastic, and she's going to tell you exactly where she started, what she's done in between, and now how she can maintain that super lean lifestyle all year round. And I mean, she's got abs all year round now. So yeah, she's going to explain every single thing in there, the hows, whats and whys, and yeah, just enjoy it. And hats off to Jennifer for doing this for us. Ain't nothing in this world that's stopping me. Ain't nothing in this world that's stopping me. And who is Jennifer?
Oh, well, who am I? I am a 41-year-old mum of one, partner, occupational therapist, dog owner.
Yeah.
And that's about it, really.
Yeah, that's it.
Gym goer.
Yeah, gym goer now. You can safely say that, can't you? I mean, how long have you been with us now?
Oh, since I think 2019.
Yeah, a year before like the lockdowns, wasn't
it? Yeah.
Good stuff. Right, then I'm just going to dig into these, Jennifer, because I know you hate this. So I mean, what is your background like in health and fitness, like from a young age? Like, what was it? Did you do anything in school? What's translated?
So I was never into fitness. I was never into exercise. I wasn't sporty. I didn't do any team sports. I did nothing.
Right, okay.
Absolutely hated it.
Were you one of the kids who brought in fake notes for PE?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I faked them, all sorts. Practicing my mum's signature, everything to get out of PE. And,
really?
Yeah, swimming, all of it. Hated it. But then growing up, because where I lived, where I grew up, it's all flat. It's not like Durham. It's not hills.
Yeah.
You know, so you walked everywhere. You were very active you were always outside. You were outside first thing in the morning until, the street lights went on.
Yeah, so you were an active kid.
You were always out. You were always playing. You were always doing something. You walked everywhere. You walked to the beach. You used to sneak into local swimming baths and, all of that sort of thing. So I was very, very active.
Yeah.
So, food-wise, you ate what was put in front of you. There was no, do you want this, do you want that? It was, this is your dinner, eat it or lump it.
Were you the same, you're the same age as me, so were you a fish fingers, chips and beans person?
Yeah, things like that.
Yeah. I thought it might have just been the northern part now.
No. And then, you're roasting on a Sunday and stuff like that. So it was all very, no traditional, no football club, no tennis, nothing like that. It was just...
Active childhood?
Yeah, you just played.
I'm pretty much the same. I wasn't in... I was shit at football. Played a little bit of rugby in school. But other than that, I was just active outside all the time as long as I could. And I was fish fingers, chips and beans if we were okay. We got Angel Delight for dessert, but my mum and dad would always make us have 2 slices of white bread with every meal. I wasn't even allowed to drink till afterwards. But yeah, I had pretty much the same.
So other than that, and then that carried on because I didn't drive. So as I grew up, you still walked everywhere. You walked to your job because everything was local. Everything was within the city. So if it was to the north of the city, you might get a bus, but again, it's half an hour walk, 45-minute walk. So, I had Tyler, and then, I moved to the north of the city, so I would go from the north of the city, I would drop him off to the south of the city for nursery, go to the other side of the south of the city to go to work, pick him up, and then do the walk back home again. So you would always, you would always be walking, you would, so it didn't matter what you ate, it didn't matter if you went out drinking, because I was always walking, my exercise was so high that I was always kept quite trim, quite slim. And it wasn't until I met my partner that we started using the car. So I was still eating the same, but
Yeah.
obviously my exercise went down. So that as that decreased, my weight started slowly over time creeping up. And then we moved up here, and again, you know, you need a car. You need a car to get from A to B. So again, we become more reliant on the car. So I started putting on weight, started increasing. It was just slowly, it was just a slow increase. And then for me, it was when I was at work and I was buying a pair of work trousers because I didn't like the ones that you were issued.
Yeah.
And I had a pair of trousers and I bought them. And I thought, look, I'm going to have to be realistic. I'll go up a size and I'll get a size 14. And
you are just like 4'2".
Well, 5'3", 5'3" and a quarter to be precise.
Okay.
And I got these size 14 trousers because I'd obviously gone up a size because I thought I'm going to be realistic. I'm going to, you know, I'll just go up. And I tried them on and couldn't get them on.
Right. Oh, so you couldn't get the 14s on, okay, and you were actually thinking you were going up a size. Shit.
So that was, for me, I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe, like, it wasn't until that moment that it hit me that I'd put on so much weight. And you've got to think that, you know, I'd been around 9 stone, I'd been a size 8 most of my life. To then not even realise that slowly you'd been putting on the weight and you were now literally between a 14 and a 16, realistically.
Wow.
Shock. So,
yeah.
So by that time, I had no confidence. I couldn't really afford to go to a gym. And I didn't have the confidence to go to a gym. I'd never been to a gym, really. And like, connotations of a gym were people looking in mirrors, you know, lifting weights, everything that you really hate about a gym. So it's like, I'm not going in. I haven't got a clue what I'm doing. I can't really afford it. So, as stupid as it sounds, I had the Wii, the Nintendo Wii, and I bought do you remember the show The Biggest Loser? They had a Wii. They had a Wii game.
Yes, yeah, that's right, yeah.
So I bought that.
Did it have the board with that or not?
Yeah. So I started doing that 3 times a week.
Right, okay.
The first week I lost 3 kilos.
Right.
So I was watching what I was eating. I was doing these workouts, and then slowly as the weight came off, I then had the confidence to maybe step into a local gym on a Saturday morning when it was quiet, nobody was there. And gradually the PT said, look, why don't you just join up? Just join up, see how you go. And I was like, oh, see how it goes. So I went along and slowly they put in a 6-week plan for me.
Yeah.
So I started doing that, got really into it, you know, all or nothing. So then lost all the weight, felt great, brilliant.
What year is this, by the way?
Oh, this must have been 2014, 2015.
Right, okay, yeah.
Because then myself and my partner broke up.
Right.
So then I couldn't really justify paying for a gym membership.
Yeah.
So I stopped going to the gym, but I took up rowing. So I took up rowing, took up climbing, so I was still eating, and I was thinking, well, I don't need to change anything, you know, I'm doing all this exercise, so therefore I can still eat what I want. But actually, by the time you hang around, you rig up a boat, you get the boats out, you're only on the river for an hour.
Right,
so actually you're not using that much.
And it's not like a constant hour, is it? Yeah.
No. So I did that 3 times a week, and so I just kept on putting on the weight again. And then I just thought, I just can't do this. And then I learned to drive, so obviously I was driving everywhere to work and stuff. And then I just thought, I need to do something. I need a change. I need something. And I think that must have been about 2018, because it must have taken me about a year to pick up the courage to ring Sarah, because I'd been following you.
Right,
so I used to get your weekly emails.
Okay, yeah.
Very blunt, very, you know, to the point. And I was just like, that's what I need. I just need to kick up the arse. I just need to do it. So I thought, oh, can I really justify the money? Can I, you know, I just got the dog, and can I do this? So I rang Sarah, and that's when it all started.
So before that, so if we settle back, like with the getting the car stuff and that, I mean, did you have a Fitbit at that time?
Yep.
And did you even put the correlation between the two of not walking to getting in the car?
Yes, absolutely, I did. But for me, psychologically, I was thinking, right, well, I was doing this and I was doing that. I was walking around work. I was going rowing, and so to me, I was doing enough.
Yes, yeah.
And obviously, you don't realise actually what you're putting in your mouth.
Yeah.
And the impact that has.
Tastes good though.
Yeah, for a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it all changed when I
When
came
did you get
here.
your Fitbit? Because just a brief thing, Jennifer is Queen Steps.
That was, so obviously we used to do the Ninja Challenge, didn't we? And then I think,
Yes.
was it Dan that introduced the Steps Challenge on the Fitbit?
Yes, it was in like a Fitbit group,
Yes,
wasn't it?
yeah.
Yeah. I think that's still going somewhere,
Do you know what? I've never
I haven't checked though.
I've never checked for years. So of course, that was quite a good challenge. So that
Right.
increased my steps. Also, I wasn't at the gym, and obviously with the diet and nutrition, yes, what I was eating, it wasn't bad, it wasn't awful, but the portion control, that's what the issue was.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until I learned how to track my macros, how to track my food, how to measure everything, that I was thinking, oh my God, I'm like literally eating a meal for 3 people. No wonder I'm putting on all this weight, because I couldn't tell you what I'm putting in my mouth. I couldn't tell you how many calories that I'm having. Whereas now, I can tell you.
You could eyeball a meal. Yeah.
You know?
And I mean, like, the thing is, you weren't like massive, were you?
No.
Like, you were never like
No.
massive, but even so, it's like you were probably eating still double the portion of what you,
Absolutely,
what you should
100%.
have been eating.
So I think I started around 10 stone when I was here.
I hope that sound works. It should do.
But it wasn't until, the tracking of the food, that was an eye-opener. And it took me a lot to get my head around that, because I didn't know about the impact of protein, fats, carbs, and the importance of it. All my life, I'd grown up to, you go on a diet, you reduce your fat intake, you've reduced your carb intake, and you lose the weight. You increase your exercise, you lose the weight. But actually, the importance of having the right amount of fat in your diet, the importance of having the right amount of carbs, the right amount of protein for your muscle growth and stuff like that, it was that really changed for me. And I didn't know what was high in protein. Like, I had a basic understanding, so I Googled all the high protein foods. So that's where it came from, that I started eating a small tin of tuna for my breakfast with 6 egg whites and protein. And I had that for probably about 4 years on the trot. Every morning. My lunch was the same, my breakfast were the same. It was just my dinner that changed. And it was Dan, I can still remember the conversation with Dan, and he said, look, you're always on the go in the morning, you're always on the go at work. So use your meals during the day to fuel your body, because you're not going to sit down and enjoy a proper meal. So increase your protein throughout the day, and use your main meal in the evening when you're sat down with your family, you're enjoying your meal, to have a proper nice carby dinner. And that's what I've stuck with. Like, that's what I've used ever since.
Mint.
So yeah.
Dan's right.
He
is.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's how we do it, as well. No, would you say the protein was like the biggest eye opener? Because it's always hard to get clients, like, especially when we say like you've got to eat X amount of protein.
I don't understand why people can't get the protein in. I can't get my head around that.
But is this because, are you do you like meats and eggs already and fish? Or were you like just a toast person and cereal?
So I would probably just have cereal. I wouldn't have anything protein for breakfast normally. It would be a bowl of cereal. Bowl of cereal, some toast. For lunch, I probably wouldn't even have a protein with my lunch. I remember at one lunchtime somebody said, "You're not going to have any protein with your meal." I was like, "No."
Right, okay.
You know, so...
Were they holding a protein shake at the same time?
No.
No, okay, not one of them.
No. So that's definitely changed. But it's working out for me, what was the highest in protein value, what was worth it for me. It was almost like banking. You know what goes into your bank account, you know what you've got to pay out.
Yeah.
You know, it's like my macros, and that's how I view it. You know, I've got 1,700 calories, this is my protein, this is my fats, this is my carbs, and this is what I need. You know, I can't go over my calories.
Yeah.
And
do you always aim for the protein first? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why, like, I think, because I always think, well, why can't people get the protein in? And we always say, just each meal, think of that big portion of protein, split it out, 3 to 4 meals, and then like a high protein snack. That's it. It's as simple as saying it.
Yeah.
But I think to the 45-year-old Brenda of the world who has just had cereal, and then maybe it's like a low-calorie bar of like a cereal bar, and then like say Slimming World Weight Watchers type foods, and then having to switch to meat, fish, eggs. It is quite a big transition.
Yeah, it is. And at the beginning, like when I first started, I guess that was a massive hurdle for me. But I think once I got it and it clicked, that was it. But that's where it comes to your intrinsic motivation. You need to want to change. You need to want to see it as a whole package. It's not about just going to a gym. It needs to be a whole rounded approach. It needs to be your diet. It needs to be your outlook. It needs to be, you know, coming to a gym. It needs to be prioritising yourself. You know, if you're not thinking like that, to me, you're only doing a half-assed job, because your nutrition...
And still expecting results. Yeah.
Because your nutrition is a massive part of that. Like the other week, I said to you, I felt really rubbish, I feel like I've plateaued, I don't feel like I'm building any strength, I'm not going anywhere, and you said, right, well, before leg day, have 4 slices of toast and jam or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and I did that, and that's what I stuck to, and... That was the 2 days that I had a really good session before I ended up with COVID.
It? Brilliant. Yeah.
So, you know, it's just taking your nutrition seriously.
Yeah.
And you do need to do it for yourself. Obviously, you've got your external motivation, like your children, and, you know, the benefits that come with it. But ultimately, you need to want to do it for yourself.
I think those are more internal motivations, your children, and that really. External's just having a bit, dropping a bit weight, isn't it?
But you need, but even, you know, you want to do it for your children and you want to be there for your children, but even that, I feel like, before it comes to that, you need to want to do it for yourself.
Yeah.
You can't do it for somebody else. You can't do it for your partner. You can't do it for your children.
No.
You need to be wanting to get up when it's pissing it down with rain. You need to be wanting to do it when you've had a hard day at work and you can't be bothered to get to work, get to a gym, you know. So I think it's important that if it's something that you want to do, you need to be the one to actually put in those changes around your food habits.
Yeah.
It's having to think about, well, where do those issues lie, you know, and changing it really. So, because you can put in all of the strategies, you can put in all of the support for us, you can put in the meal plans, you can put in everything, but until you do it for yourself, it's not going to work long term. You'll not be able to maintain it.
Yeah, I've actually been thinking about this just the last couple of days. It's like, no matter what, we have got all the plans, the blueprints, everything, but it's fucking you who has to do the work. That's it. Like, you, like, getting up. I mean, the British weather never helps with everybody.
But, you know, I got a treadmill. I bought a treadmill. I bought a new treadmill. I bought a second-hand treadmill. The first treadmill that I bought was 50 quid off Facebook. Yeah. I know. You know, or, you know, I'm fortunate enough that we've got a gym at work, so I pay £10 a month for the gym at work. So if I need to get my steps in, I'll go to a gym early and I'll get my steps in. You know, if it's chucking it down outside or dark or whatever. So
there is always a way around. I actually really like, I mean, we only got that walking pad last Christmas, and I've used it all this year. Even in the summer I have, because I mean, it's not been summer, but I love them. But yeah, you're right, it has to be has to be like, the want has to be so strong with it. I mean, yes, you've been here 5 years. I mean, how many people you've seen come and go?
Oh, absolutely. And there have been times that I've not wanted to come. I don't want to, you know. And
I know, I've heard you.
You know, they say, oh, you must really love the gym. Yeah, I love the gym, and don't get me wrong, I do. But it's a love-hate relationship. I love it. I love coming, but there are times when I've had a long day at work. The last thing I want to do is go to the gym, get home, walk the dogs, and, you know, I want to go home and just sit down and not do anything. But actually, I have to accept that, yes, that is a moment in time, and, you know, I've just got to suck it up and do it.
You love the benefits more than the actual doing.
And once I get here, you know, the guys are great, the group's great, you know, we all talk amongst ourselves. You know, Josh is great. Oh, bless Josh, poor thing.
You say that every time I talk to you.
I know. I hate you, that's all he hears. I hate you. And obviously turning the air blue. So, especially when you put in the, the leg curl. Absolutely hate that.
What, leg curl?
I hate the leg curl.
Oh dear.
I hate the leg curl. Stick it in the ocean, never to be seen again.
Why?
I hate it.
Why do you hate that
one? I hate it so much. I can't do it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
Is it right? Is it because, I mean, I don't know what you're lifting on it. Is it not?
I'm not lifting anything because it's rubbish.
Well, I'll tell you what, I only go to, is it, the highest I've gotten on there personally is 41. So if you're doing that or above.
Well, I think I'm up to 41 now, but I hate it. I mean, even poor Leslie came up to me, I think I'd turned the air blue, saying how much I hated it. And she went, Jennifer, I'm just getting the feeling that you're not liking the leg curl.
Oh, it's one of them, if I haven't done it for a couple of weeks and I do it, my leg's going to cramp. So where Josh has actually been coaching me as well, he's only had like 3 sets in, and on set 1, I have to take about 2.5 minute rest to try and get back in, and then my sets go down, and like, I've only been getting through 2 sets with it recently.
It's just awful. Awful.
Okay, I'll put a note into the manager. Right, where are we at? I mean, you've pretty much said about the moment in your life, so that we'll skip that one. I'm going to throw a curveball in here, actually.
Oh, God.
No, it isn't, actually. It's probably something what you don't actually know. So did you know you are actually pound for pound the strongest across all units?
No, I wouldn't have said that at all.
Well, you
Not
are.
at all.
Pound for pound, you are actually, like me and Josh were figuring it out, so what you can obviously lift compared to body weight in all your lifts, and you were actually the strongest.
Oh, well, there you go.
There
Strongest.
you go. So whenever you're bitching and moaning about you not gaining strength and all the rest of it, you're the little pocket rocket who is actually the strongest pound for pound. I like to use that one as well because I'm small. Luke will always be the strongest, but I'm pound for pound stronger than him. Yeah. Although I don't know, like I've seen him have like a 70 kilo dumbbell in each hand doing like incline presses and stuff like that.
I've got to say, yesterday it was the 35 in each hand doing the reverse lunges. Is it reverse lunges or lunges? That killed me. You
had the 35 kilo each hand. 12 reps or?
I think it was 8 reps.
8 reps each leg?
8 reps each leg.
Okay.
So I was just like, oh. And then
they're bigger than you.
So I said to Josh, that's killed me off.
I mean, just for reference for people probably who don't, that's 70 kilos, which is actually, well, I'm 71 at the minute, so that's like lunging with me. That's fucking impressive. Like, that's 1 and a bit times your body weight, 1 1/3 times your body weight.
Yeah, no wonder my blood pressure was through the roof.
I bet you were sweating off that one as well. That's mad.
So I had to go outside. I was like, oh my God.
That's we've only got the next size up, and then I'm not buying any more. Cost a fucking fortune once they get past that.
I have to do what Luke used to do for KTB and strap some plates on the end.
I mean, you can do barbell lunges, but them actually they're a little bit easy because you've got the balance. Well, a bit easier if you've got the balance. If not, you fall over. But yes, pound for pound the strongest.
Well, there
so
you go.
keep that up. Photo shoots, you've done obviously 4 along the way. I know we covered this in like when you did a little testimonial, but like Yeah, you've done 4 photo shoots. I mean, what's like, I think I'll just jump straight in, like obviously the next one with that, like how, like what's the process of you doing it? Because even though we set guidelines and all the rest of it, like how have you done it yourself? Because I think people probably, most people it's like, how did she do it? Do you know what I mean?
So the first shred, I followed the diet plan. I followed everything to the T. I did it all.
Was that the very first one we did? All
very first one.
Was we?
That was the first ever one we did.
Right. Okay. I think that might be 3 years ago now.
Something like that. So
yeah, I mean the start of it 3 years ago.
Yeah. So I followed that. Everything on it, the meal plan, everything. And then the second one, I started deviating because you had to have 5 meals, and I thought that's not going to work for me in like my job. There's no way, you know. So I started with the same concept of have my protein, breakfast and lunch, and have my main meal, and then just whatever snack in between, usually before a session, and that was it really. And then obviously steps.
And what was your steps like? Because were they quite high?
I think it was between 15 and 20, but then I was getting between 20 and 25,000 steps a day anyway.
Right. Okay.
Because my job was very active.
So you were just keeping your steps to what you were normally doing anyway, so it was just a bit of the nutrition change.
Yeah. So that's what it was. And then I think I started adapting the diet. So it wasn't adding anything. It was just...
to your tastes?
Yeah. And I think it was because one of the challenges I had was feeders in the family.
Right.
So my mum's a feeder, my partner's a feeder, and I think...
the twats.
I think so once I realised that actually this is what I'm doing, and I did it the first time, and I think that was when everybody was like, oh well actually, you know, she's taking this seriously.
Yeah.
Because they were very supportive, but it was like, oh, do you want some cake? Do you want some cake with your cup of tea? And stuff like that. And I'd be like, no, I don't want it. I'm not having it. And that's that. But my partner, he was really supportive. He changed all the meals, and, you know, ever since then. And I think a turning point for him to be really supportive was, do you remember the time that I dropped my calories?
Okay. Oh, yes.
So I dropped my calories to something stupid.
Yeah.
Against your advice.
Yeah.
Yes. And I did the Saturday morning session and nearly passed out. So I went home and we were walking the dogs, and I said, I looked at my phone and I was like, oh, session's just finishing. I said, I can guarantee I'm going to get a telephone call in about 2 minutes from either Ross or Sarah. He said, why? I said, because I did something really stupid. I dropped my calories and I nearly passed out at the gym, and literally within 5 seconds I had you on the phone. What do you think you're doing? If you're not going to follow this, I'm going to kick you off this shredder. Right, over the next 2 days I want you to eat this many calories. And I think for my partner especially, I think it demonstrated to him that you were looking after us.
Yeah.
You were, you know, watching what we were eating. You were making sure that it was safe. You were, you know, you had our intentions at the forefront of it all.
Yeah.
And I think that's when he started to increase his support as well. So he was then really adapting my meals. So now we keep your chicken tikka.
Right, okay,
so we keep that as a normal dinner now. Or we have...
I've just made some yesterday.
So we have different types of chicken and, you know, everything. Even now, you know, he's like, right, how many weeks until you shred? How many days until you shred? And, you know, so how many days have you got until you can eat this until this date, sort of thing. So, so that's been a massive help. So just having everybody on board around you that's supporting you, that's aware that, yes, for the next 12 weeks, you know, you are going to go out with friends and family, but you're not going to be drinking, or you're not going to be eating loads of high-fat foods. And, you know, it is going to be quite restrictive. So, you know, people bringing cakes into work, yes, you know, everybody can enjoy it, but you know, understand that, yes, when I say no, it's not because I'm just being a twat. It's, you know,
have you found that easier now to be able to just tell them?
Yeah, and I think everybody around me, because I've done it so many times now, everybody's like, oh, she's on a shred.
Yeah.
You know.
But even now, like, because you've I mean, since the last one, like you've crushed it, maintaining like throughout, like, so you must still be saying no within these environments.
Yeah, I think the only thing that's changed since doing the shred, so each shred that I've done, I've took something from it, and I've learnt more. And so the first shred, for example, the first thing I did, and Stacey Field will tell you, I ordered a 6-box of chocolate muffins and a chocolate cake, and I demolished it. Yeah.
What was that straight after it?
That was the weekend after the first shred.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Although I caught COVID, that was the week that I caught COVID, so I didn't eat anything for about 2 weeks. So, you know, that probably
balanced out.
Yeah. And then the second time, I followed, obviously, the direction from you and Sarah to maintain.
Yeah, Sarah got you up, didn't she? There. Yeah.
So we were looking at maintaining, then bulking, and then cutting. But then I got to the bulk, and then I think that's when I was doing my dissertation, and I said, look, I said, I'm not going to cut my calories now because I just don't have the headspace. I just need to get my dissertation done, get my portfolio done, finish uni, and then I'll start reducing my calories ready for the September shred. So I did that, and then did this.
Is that the bulk bit? Mm-hmm. So the bulk, I think you went up to June, July-ish, was it? And then you started lowering down from there. And there's not many people in this world who will do a strategic bulk, especially from someone like where you did get lean and it's very hard. I mean, actually talk about that, like how
that was harder. Yeah, that was the hardest
to put weight on.
That was the hardest. That was the hardest to get my head round, because society tells you to lose weight. You lose weight, you cut your calories, you exercise, you work out, get your steps in, whatever. You know, you lose weight. So when you're told that actually you need to put on weight, your first thought is, oh, well, I can eat this and I can eat that. Actually, no, you can't. You've still got to eat the same. You've just got to increase small amount here, small amount there, you know. So that's what was hard for me, was to increase it slowly, gradually, and, you know, within those set boundaries, because it was almost, I cannot explain it. It was just, it was harder for me to lose weight than it was to put on.
Harder for you to
gain weight
yes,
than lose weight, I mean. So I had to work harder at doing that than losing the weight.
Because it's a mental battle, and like a lot of women who say do get lean, and then we do try and like say increase the calories. It's like, I mean, most of the people who we train are intelligent people, but it's like, look, this is the process of what you've actually got to go through. And yes, you're going to put on a little bit of fat, but in the end, you're going to be much better here.
I know. But when you're standing on the scales and you see the scales go up and your clothes are getting tighter, and it's just like, oh my God, what am I doing? What am I doing? Please, somebody remind me why I'm doing this. So no, I stuck at it, persevered, and then finished my degree, and then reduced my calories, and then it was the September shred.
So so we hit the September one and then into there. And I think I'm on the same wavelength as you, as like shoot 2 and 3. We came in around about the same, didn't we? About the same.
Yeah.
And I remember you saying something about like you weren't as buzzing with it type thing.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As much as you would have been, but like I still thought you looked great. And then obviously I sent you the message of, do you want to do the January one? And that would have been like a 5-week gap or something like that.
Yeah. That was the first time, because usually I'm like, yep. I never think about anything. I've got I just say yes. You know, I don't think about it. But I did, yeah. Because I thought, no, do you know what? I'm going to step back. I'm going to think about it. I'll, speak to my partner. And I said, Ross asked me to do another shred for for a trip away. And he went, do it. I said, just do it. You know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, I support you 100%. Just do it. You're not going to get this opportunity again, so just do it.
You are getting the opportunity again.
So, you know.
but the in that, I think we said, like, because you weren't, I mean, like, I'm sure you were still happy-ish about the photos, but it's like, so there's this one thing where, do you know, like, because everybody else would say, but you look great, but inside, like, you're thinking, actually, I could have went a few more pounds, and I think I set you another 10, didn't I? Did I say another 10, was it?
I think it was about another 10, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I guess because there wasn't a massive dramatic difference, I think that's why I was just like, oh, I could have done a bit more, could have done a bit more, could have, you know. So I was quite pleased I did the second shred to knock the rest off. Because,
like, actually you and Vic did the same, didn't you? You did, yes. Yeah.
And I mean, she looks incredible, absolutely insane.
Yeah, she has, she's done mint. And she's one of my favourites as well, because she's maintained since the last shred. Fucking basically me and whoever, but hey. But no, yeah, so like, because some people will always say, like, oh, you look great and all the rest of it, but in your head, it's always that thing of, like, I know where I'm this, because we get, like, a lot of, like, leaner women and stuff like that, and, like, they're saying, like I want to lose a stone. But all my friends are telling us I look great and all the rest of it. But, like, in your own head, and it's not an unhealthy thing. I think it's just knowing you can do that little bit better.
Yeah. Well, you always want to achieve more, don't you? You always want to do better. You want to be better. You know, you always want to achieve as much as you possibly can. And I think that's with me throughout. You know, if I'm going to do something, I'd rather learn how to do it properly. I'd rather do it properly. You know, I'd rather go all out and do it. So.
Love it. But yes, like, we'll see how the next one is, isn't it?
I know. Can't wait.
You love that process, though. You actually like the.
I love the shred. I do.
Does it? Because I always find when I am dieting, it's not just the food what I'm dialed in with, but then I feel dialed in with everything else in life. I don't know if you feel the same.
Yeah, I think this is where I show that I'm a little bit lazy.
Okay.
Because I don't need to think about what I'm eating.
Right. Okay.
I don't need to think about, you know, I mean, I don't do any of my cooking anyway, but I don't need to think about what I'm having for my breakfast. I don't need to think about what I'm going to do for lunch. I don't need to think about what I'm doing for my dinner. I don't need to, you know, because everything's there. Everything's there for 12 weeks. I don't need to think. It's one less thing that I need to worry about. You know, just follow the process and.
Well, that's like a massive entrepreneur, like who's just got everything sorted, where they don't have to think about them, and then they can concentrate on the job and stuff like that.
This is why I fit in like 3 different courses and a full-time job and dogs and family, and you know, because it's just you look at, right, where could I be more efficient? Okay, so I need to get my steps in. Right, well, do you know what? I need to walk my mum's dog, so I'm going to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and I'll walk dogs. And then I've got 5,000 steps in. Yeah, you know. It's getting to work a little bit earlier so I can, again, you know, get my steps in, pop to a gym for half an hour, you know, get my steps in, get myself sorted for work, have my breakfast, get myself, you know, ready for the day. You know, to be fair, if you were open a little bit earlier, I'd, you know, do a morning session. But so yeah, it's just all of those. It's looking at where can I fit more in, where can I be more efficient. You know, how can I do more?
And then the nutrition, when you're doing the shred, is so streamlined, it's there.
And I think this time round, I think that's why I've been able to maintain it as much as I have, because I've just kept it up. The only difference is I like my Colin Caterpillars and I like my wine gums, and you know. But
the thing is, you know, that's okay to have, especially for the amount of activity you do, the amount of, like, obviously the rotation of meals, what you always have on repeat. You're pretty much always in a deficit, but then when you're having these things, it balances you out of maintenance. Yeah,
I mean, I've already got my meal plan set for shred, so I already know what I'm having. So,
you could sell that.
I know.
You could sell that for a lot of money.
Maybe that's my next course. Maybe I'll learn to be a PTA.
Yeah, I'd love you here. I think it'd be brilliant. Not on your grumpy days, though. Yeah. Me asking you, what's been like the biggest challenges along the way, would you say then?
Again, I think it's I think it's the initial, when you start doing anything like this, it's almost like you've got to prove to everybody else that you're serious before they take you seriously. So
Yeah.
like with the feeding and, you know, oh, I bought you a cake, you know, oh, I bought you this, or why don't you take this, you know, or, oh, I've cooked this, and, you know, and it's just like, well, I can't eat it, I'm not eating it, I'm just... So I think that, for me, was the turning point, was the
Because the environment
challenge.
you work in as well, like, because that is very, like...
At Christmas, you go onto every single ward and there's a box of chocolates. You know, oh, I'll only have one, I only have two. You know, before you know it, you've been to 5 wards and, you know...
It's big. It's nice from the patient, so it's like you can't say no to them, can you? And like then this gets shared out, and it is just picking, and that's like just 5 of them's like 250 calories, like celebrations.
So I think it is learning to say no. That was the challenge for me,
especially in that place. Yeah,
and it wasn't just work. It was everywhere.
Yeah,
it was everywhere. It was, you know, when you're out with friends for coffee, you know, or you go out for lunch. You know, I went for bottomless brunch, you know, and I had a Diet Coke and a chicken wrap.
It's a waste of money.
You know, that was my bottomless brunch.
Yeah.
You know, but that's...
Do you drink much? Did you ever drink much, or...?
No, I'm not much of a drinker. I mean, I drank when I was in my 20s and, you know, went out clubbing and stuff like that. God, I used to be a fish. Whereas now I'm just take it or leave it.
So you could go out and easily not have a drink, like drive there?
Yeah, I mean, I'd have a beer. I might have a beer or two, but other than that, I'm not one for hangovers. I mean, when we went to Marbella, I had a 4-day hangover.
Did
and
you?
I don't want to repeat that.
Good fun though. It was brilliant. I mean, you were shit at the music quiz.
Well,
but
you know...
You did try though.
What can I say? God loves a trier.
I hope you've brushed up your skills for
oh no, I need to get me.
year.
I need to get my general knowledge quiz book out or something.
Or just find a game of your own and bring that.
Oh,
what you're good at.
Yes. Well, the game that I'm bringing this time, oh my God, played it at the weekend. Have you ever heard of the tortilla wrap game?
No.
Oh.
It's not where you hit each other, is it? Oh, okay. But I don't know how it's played.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, that was quite funny. So I'll bring that along.
You bring a few tortilla wraps, okay? Fair dues. So the last one, yeah. So what advice would you give to someone wanting to live a leaner, healthier lifestyle? Yeah, some pretty basic, solid advice what the everyday person could just take away.
Make sure.
Where to start or something
I would just say, make sure that you're doing it for yourself, not for anybody else. Be honest with the reasons that you're wanting to make the changes you want to change. Persevere and be consistent.
How do they do all that?
Well, you persevere. You just need to think, right, you know, you are in it for the long haul. It's not short term.
No.
You just need to think, yes, you know, I don't want to go to a gym, I don't want to do this, I don't want to eat that, but actually, just do it. Just do it, because once you get through the door, once you've done your workout, you know, you've turned up. You might not do a fantastic session, you might not lift the most weights that day, but you've turned up, you've lifted some weights, you've lifted more weights, you've done more steps than you would have done if you'd just sat at home, sat on the sofa.
Yeah.
So even then, you've achieved more than what you would have done. So just, it's that sort of perseverance, you know, when you really don't want to do anything. Be consistent. So obviously I do like tracking. I do like tracking. I do like the macros. That works for me. It doesn't work for anybody, you know, for everyone. So find what works for you and be consistent with it. You know, it doesn't matter what sort of diet you're doing, just stick to one diet, be consistent, and, you know, it needs to be a long-term change, not short-term.
So the big one is like, just fucking do it for you, innit? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you can find that in yourself, it's like, let's go.
Yeah. All of this is, I think, the only thing that I really do for me, you know.
Perfect.
So yeah,
We'll
love it.
clink some cold coffees. Thank you very much.
Ciao.